Hiya folks. From the last two videos, I would certainly say one thing is a certainty. We need to speak about the things that are not so easy to speak about. We need to question those things. We need to speak together about them, because no matter what subject, all the things that cause people problems, cause people pain, cause people brokenness, yeah, whether it's alcoholism, sexual assault, whether you've suffered something horrendous like that, yeah, adultery, gambling addiction, all these things should be spoken about. Even the point of smoking, what actually really makes people want to smoke? What is it about smoking that gets people addicted? Because the problem is the world, they hate truth. The world hates truth. Truth about all these things, because truth will set you free. All truth will set people free. Because all truth sets you free from the bondage of the lies. And the world loves lies, because lies sells drugs, sells other different medication, sells therapy, sells all this crap. Truth, you don't get a lot of money from truth, do you? Really? So therefore, the world hates it. You can't do anything with it. You can't make money from it. So therefore, So, the reality when it comes down to it is truth needs to be spoken about, and without shame, without any guilt, without any concern about what people might say. So even the transgender issue and the way the world is dealing with that. Again, should we speak about it? Absolutely, of course we should, yeah. Why? Because again, it's truth. We should speak about truth because why is it all of a sudden, that all these young boys and girls are suddenly realising that they're supposed to be the opposite gender? Yeah, they weren't realising that in the 80s and 90s, were they? So what is it? What is actually going on here? Because something is. What has gone on recently? Something has. So what? Again, we should be speaking about this because why? These things affect people's lives. And if we can find truth in the darkness, because that's the point, is there's an awful lot of darkness about this sort of stuff. If we can be led by God to find truth, and highlight truth and, brush away the darkness and all this crap, then we should be doing so. I'm not saying I should be doing so. I'm saying, generally speaking, we should be doing so. Those that belong to God should be doing that. And they are, I think. I think it will be the case that people are. I've never met them. I've never heard them talk about it, but I think there must be. However much I want to think that I'm some special dude, which I don't, but if I did, no matter how much I'd want to think that, it'd be pretty obvious if God has given me some stuff, he's given other people that stuff, isn't he? Really? Or something similar. In different areas, of course he is. Because it's not about me, it's about him. If it's about him, then he's given other people stuff. So therefore, he must be giving people stuff about all this crap. All the stuffs. Yeah, there must be people that have been alcoholics who understand how alcoholism works. Yeah, what is going on in the spiritual, what is going on in absolute truth, rather than what the world tells people. Yeah, that you're weak or whatever. That's complete crap. There's plenty of weak people that aren't alcoholics. And gamblers. Why they have issues where they need to lose their home and everything, lose their family as a result of gambling? Is it because they get a little buzz from No. Is it because they get a big buzz from No, because you can get the buzz from anywhere. There's other ways of getting the buzz. Drugs being one. What about drug addicts? Why do they do it? Is it the buzz? Again, gambling gives you that, right? So why do they choose what they choose? Why do they fall into that so easily? And why is it so bloody difficult for them to get out of it? Yeah, and then again, I don't want the world's view unless it's truth. We need truth in these areas of darkness because that's what's going to set people free. In most cases, people don't need deliverance and they don't need healing. They need truth. The truth will set you free because it will. And so therefore, we need to be unashamedly speaking about truth. And just speaking about it from the point of view of truth. And just helping people to understand the truth of that. You know. That's why I've done videos talking about, you know, in men's DNA that men are programmed to be attracted to the majority of women. Why? I'm not trying to make excuses for men. Not in any way. It's not about making excuses for them. What it is about saying, you know, truth. People saying that, men shouldn't be attracted to or shouldn't commit adultery. Well, no. But we should understand why the drive is there. We should understand why men will notice other women. And notice women that they notice. What is it about that? Why do they notice that? What is it in them? And you can't say it's the devil because that's crap. It's not. It's programming. We're programmed to do that because for centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries, wars and wars and wars and death and famines and disease and everything were wiping out populations. Populations had to be renewed. The only way to do that is sex, unfortunately, folks. The only way that can be done is through men entering women and babies being produced at the end of it. So therefore, obviously, if you have a war where, whether you're the winner or loser, as I said before, even if you're the winner, you'll lose most of your soldiers in the war. The ones that come back to that village or that town, so like now, I live in a town in Scotland, right? So therefore, this town, it wouldn't have been much centuries ago, but let's say it was. It wouldn't, but let's say it would have had 1,000 people, right? Pre-war. Well, let's say 200. That'd be a reasonable sized town then. Let's say 100 of them would have been men, 100 women. That probably wouldn't have been the case. There would have been more women and more men, whatever. But let's say that 75 of the men go off to war. Right? The ones left are either way too young or way too old. Right? Now, we also have to understand at that point in time, even old men went to war. If you can hold a spear, you're going to war. Right? So when I say too old, that's way too old. That's really blinking old. That's feeble, not able to walk, sort of old. So certainly way outside the age of being able to have children. If you tried, someone left behind who was too old, if they tried to actually produce a child with a woman, they'd break a hip doing so. That sort of age. Okay. Well then, if you lose a majority, in a typical war, you'd lose 60 of the 75. You'd have 15 men coming back who are of age and ability to have children. 75 women of childbearing age now having 15 men that they would have to mate with to, have more men. Therefore, the 15 men had to fancy the majority of those 75 women. Even though they wouldn't be, all of them, his first choice, he would have to be sexually attracted to the majority of the rest. Otherwise, you've got a woman who's perfectly capable of having a child, who's never going to have a child because no man is going to be aroused enough to actually produce a child with her. Well, you can't have that. It's a waste of a woman. In those days, not now, in those days. Right? Yes? Well, it's a mouth to feed who's not actually producing towards society. Yes? Okay. So men were designed for, to be attracted to women for that reason. So, yeah. That's truth. And again, it's not truth that's necessarily comfortable in today's society, because in today's society, we don't feel comfortable talking about women as, that their main function is to have children and look after children. But that would have been the case then. You didn't have many women doing degrees and going off and doing this, that and the other and presenting television programs and stuff. They didn't exist. Right? The jobs that most women do now didn't exist then. So therefore, there wasn't a lot of women getting any education whatsoever. Not in those days. But the population still had to be regrown, didn't it, really? Again, it's for today's society, it's a rather unattractive truth, but it's still true. And when you understand it from that point of view, that as a man, you are biologically programmed to be attracted to the majority of women, well, then you understand where it's coming from. You don't feel guilt about it, you understand it. It doesn't mean you give in to it, but it does mean you understand it. It does mean that, if you're out and about and you see an attractive woman, you go, oh, she looks nice. As a young man, you think slightly differently than an older man. As a young man, you think, yeah. As an older man, you think, it's more based upon personality than sex and attraction, but yeah. There are reasons for things. There are always reasons for things. And it's not simply a reason that it's sin or it's this or it's that. There are always reasons. And when you understand the reason, you can understand why, and therefore you can either deal with the situation or you can understand it from a human point of view, and therefore understand it from that point of view and say, well, it's not simply a case where it's sin. There is a reason, a biological reason for that to be the case. And God created us with that. So that's okay. It's okay to be attracted to women as a man. It's okay for a woman to be attracted to a man who looks like he could take care of her. Of course. It doesn't mean that she should leave her husband for that man. It doesn't mean a man should leave his wife for the younger, attractive woman. Of course not. Because that's the point. Once you get to a point of maturity, you should understand that love is a different thing completely. And we're created to do that as well. But we have examples. Abraham. Abraham was attracted enough to Sarah's slave. Wasn't he? Because when Sarah thought she was too old, what did Sarah do? Told Abraham to go into the slave and have a son with her. And he did. Right? He didn't have any problem performing, did he? He didn't say, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but she's not you, so I can't get an erection with her. He went, okay. All right then. Sweetheart, if you say so. Now, we don't know, was he doing it in reluctance, or was he doing it as a lot of men would go, well, hey, she's giving me permission. We don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, well, we're not going to judge him either way, are we? Yeah. It is what it is. But we know that we were created like that. That's the reality. But if you're a man, if you've got an amazing woman, you would never look at another. Never. Same as if you're a woman, you've got a wonderful husband, you would never look at another man. If your husband or wife is looking at someone else, it's because of you. Again, truth. Yeah. It's not just the one committing adultery, it's the one that they're committing adultery on that's also to blame. So yeah. So there you go. I will leave you to it. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.